that if there is something you're passionate about, you owe it to yourself to pursue it. If this is something you're considering as a doctor career transition, I hope this is helpful. In health tech, you have an indirect impact on patients, but on a more scalable level. One of the best things about working in health tech is I'm not only applying my medical knowledge and skills, but I get to learn other things outside of medicine. I get to work with different teams in sales, marketing, engineering, and I think that this is one of the things I have valued the most. I get to learn more about business, which is something I'm really excited about. I think I've always been inclined this way, and I love learning about it. And now that I'm in it, I really believe, and I really wish this for anyone that listens to this, that if there is something you're passionate about, you owe it to yourself to pursue it, to try and explore those opportunities. The dream is to do something that you're passionate about. And I used to think this was overrated, but I really believe that anyone can do it. Anyone can pursue their passion and make a living out of it. What I've noticed is that there's not much of that traditional hierarchy as there is in medicine. In health tech, there's definitely managers and direct reports, and there's different job titles like chief, vice president, director, manager, but it's just less obvious. Also, working in a health tech startup, I think that I've been able to apply my medical knowledge and skills and keep up to date with medicine, but also get to think more creatively and think outside the box. In medicine, things are slower to change. If you want to improve on something, it's really not easy. Whereas in health tech, things just happen much more quickly because we are working with technology and we're trying to make things more effective and more efficient. So if something's not working, it's quite easy to make a pivot. And also, I think in health tech, there are so many opportunities that you can easily make a lateral career move. In medicine, I think it's a little bit harder because you'll have to take certain exams and get a number of years of experience in a certain field before you can make a lateral career move. Another wonderful thing that has really changed my life is the flexibility. My schedule working in the hospital was honestly a bit crazy, but now I still work a lot of hours, but I'm loving what I'm doing and it's flexible. Working for a digital health tech startup, they're very supportive with your time. If you need to go to an appointment or if you have a family and need to pick up your kids, you can work around that as long as you do great work. When your company takes care of you, you're more motivated to work hard and produce good results for the company. In a lot of hospitals, they don't seem to quite understand that for some reason. Employee well-being and happiness should be first priority. I had a really bad experience with one of my hospitals where they made me feel really awful for being sick to miss work. I know that I didn't want to be stuck having the hospital dictate when I could be sick and when I could spend time with my family. My family, my loved ones, and my health are things that I highly prioritize, and I didn't want to sacrifice those things anymore to work in the hospital. Because of COVID, a lot of companies are allowing their employees to work remotely, and that has enabled me to literally work from anywhere in the world and do my job. So now I have the choice to choose where I live rather than have my job dictate where I live. And I cannot be any more grateful for that, because my location and being around a good social support system and being able to be where I want to be has allowed me to be happier and healthier. Happier and healthier people are just more productive. You've probably noticed too, when you're sad and you have low energy levels, are you able to do anything? Are you able to focus? No, you're not. Having a flexible schedule and being able to be where you want to be, that can really change your life completely. So I'm very, very thankful for that. So of course, there are so many pros to working in a health tech startup, but I have to talk about the disadvantages as well. My number one thing is that I don't get to work with patients directly, so that's definitely something that I'm missing by working in a health tech startup. You are working at a desk in an office with your computer a lot of the time, so that can also become monotonous. It's nothing like being in the hospital where you get quite an adrenaline rush every day. You do have to work on a laptop for long hours, and you'll have to do Zoom calls, and some people might hate that. So if that's something you could not see yourself doing, definitely take that into consideration. One of the cons of working in a health tech startup is that the company has to think about revenue and how to bring money in, and that can be very stressful at some points, because as a doctor, you're not really concerned about that. When you're a doctor, you're actually very removed from that. Doctors are always needed, so there will always be funding for that. In health tech, there's no set career path that is clearly defined for you. You really need to create your own pathway, and that depends on whether or not you want to work in medical affairs, clinical operations, marketing, sales. There are so many different opportunities for doctors depending on what your interests are, what your skill sets are, and what the company needs. So you need to really create your own pathway, and you need to talk to people, network, and figure out a way to provide value as a doctor. So to summarize, the similarities between the two, they both require a lot of time and can have intense, rigorous schedules, especially working for a startup that is trying to become profitable. With a small team, you wear many different hats. You can be covering a lot of different roles. And that's also can be very exciting. You're definitely thrown in the deep end and you learn a lot from it. In both scenarios, you're also dealing with work politics, and I think that's normal. There's just a way of dealing with things, and that just comes with the professional environment where you're having to deal with different people and different ways of doing things. So that's something you have to definitely learn to navigate, and having people skills and soft skills are definitely important in any area that you work. Both require teamwork to make the dream work. In the hospital, you definitely need to get along with your peers, with nurses, with allied healthcare, with everyone, and your life will definitely be difficult if you cannot get along with the people you work with. Same goes in a health tech startup. People like to work with people that they like, and if you can work effectively with your team and trust them, the results are so much better and you're happier for it. Luckily, medical knowledge is valuable in both. In health tech, it's very valuable because we're developing products, solutions, and AI for health care, for doctors, for improving patient care. The main differences are, one, culture. I think there are a lot more traditionalists in medicine, so you have to follow certain rules and procedures to pave your way in medicine. And in a health tech startup, I think it does seem more casual, innovative, and more flexible. I am more on my feet and moving around in medicine, but I have less time to work out and eat healthy. Even though I'm in a more sedentary role, I have more flexibility to schedule my meal times and my workouts. So I feel like my life is much more balanced and I can prioritize my health. I think the last thing I will mention is that something that people have asked me about is salary. As a doctor, you know what your salary will be. That is set by the hospital system and by whatever medical governing body you have in your country. So there is a set salary for interns, residents, fellows, and attendings. And if you open up your own business or clinic, then those numbers are dependent on how well your business is doing. In health tech, however, depending on what position you're doing, your Salary depends on your experience, your skill set, how you provide value, and your ability to negotiate. So there's just a lot more factors that influence what your salary is in health tech. A lot of doctors are worried about their salary when they leave medicine, and I have to be honest, being a doctor, you will never go hungry. You will always make a good salary being a doctor. It's a very comfortable living as a doctor, and everyone knows that. But you make a lot of sacrifices for it. In health tech, if you're making a transition, you may take a pay cut initially, but if you can prove yourself and provide value, you can make a very good living. People who work in health tech make very high salaries, and if you get equity in the company, you have the potential to make a lot of money if the business is successful. If. That's a big if. And so there are ways to make a good salary in health tech. It's not clearly laid out, but there are definitely things you can do to negotiate a higher salary for yourself. And in medicine, it's definitely harder to do that. I hope this was helpful. These are some of the many questions that I've been asked about my transition to working in a health tech startup. It's been a really great 2 years for me. I've definitely loved it. I have to say it wasn't easy. There were a lot of struggles, a lot of steep learning curves, but I've learned a lot, and I can assure you that being a doctor, everything you know, all your skills, you can provide a lot of value. At the end of the day, this is a decision that will have an impact on your life, so make the best decision for you. And remember, you always have an option. There are plenty of opportunities out there, so don't sell yourself short. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying healthy. Remember to take care of yourself. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, everyone.